Have you ever felt it? That strange, creeping sensation in your toes. A tingling that simply should not be there. Maybe it wakes you up in the dead of the night, when the house is completely quiet. A burning, electrical shock that vanishes as quickly as it appears, leaving you staring at the ceiling, wondering what is happening inside your own body. Or perhaps, it is the exact opposite. Perhaps it is a terrifying, heavy nothingness. A creeping numbness that makes you look down at your own feet, just to make sure they are still touching the floor. You find yourself hesitating before you step off a curb. You find yourself holding onto the railing just a little bit tighter. If you are over 50, and you know exactly what I am talking about, I need you to listen very, very closely. Because what you are experiencing is not just a random, harmless quirk of getting older. It is not just a burden you must quietly accept and learn to live with. It is a silent thief. A thief that slowly, quietly, day by day, tries to steal your balance. It tries to steal your mobility. It steals your deep, restorative sleep. And eventually, it tries to steal your independence and your peace of mind. This thief has a name. Neuropathy. And for millions of people around the world, getting this diagnosis feels like being handed a life sentence. You know the routine all too well. You go to the doctor. You sit in that cold room, and you try your best to explain the invisible torment. You explain the burning. You explain the relentless pins and needles. You describe the horrifying sensation of walking on crushed rocks or broken glass, even when you are standing on a soft carpet. And all too often, you are met with a sympathetic nod, handed a prescription to simply numb your brain to the pain, and you are told a devastating lie. You are told that your nerves are simply getting old. You are told that the damage is permanent. That the best you can do is manage the decline. But I want you to erase that narrative from your mind right now. What if I told you that this is not the end of your story? What if I told you that the human body, even after 50, even after 60, 70, or beyond, possesses an astonishing, almost miraculous ability to rebuild itself? Aging is not about surrendering to decay. It is about adapting, nourishing, and healing with intention. Today, we are going to embark on a journey deep into the intricate, microscopic wiring of your own body. We are going not just to understand this thief, but to banish it entirely. We are going to talk about how to fix neuropathy, not just hide the pain, but address the absolute root cause, heal the profound damage, and reclaim your vibrant life. Take a deep, slow breath in. Let it out even slower. Now, I want you to imagine a beautiful, ancient tree standing in the middle of a vast field. This tree has a massive, sturdy trunk. It has thick, strong branches. And at the very edges of those branches, there are millions of tiny, delicate green leaves. To keep those leaves vibrant and alive, water and life-giving nutrients must travel an incredibly long distance. They must be pulled from the deep roots in the earth, travel all the way up the thick trunk, through the narrowing branches, and out to the very tips of the furthest leaves. Your nervous system is exactly like that ancient tree. Your brain and your spinal cord are the massive trunk. And branching out from that central trunk are miles and miles of peripheral nerves. These delicate wires travel all the way down your legs, past the bend of your knees, deep into your ankles, and all the way to the very tips of your toes. They are the vital communication highways of your physical being. They are what tell your brain when the bathroom tile is cold in the morning. They tell your brain when you are stepping on a sharp pebble. They tell your muscles exactly how to contract so you can walk with confidence, run with your grandchildren, and dance without looking at your feet. But these nerves, especially the ones furthest from the center, are incredibly delicate. And they are constantly hungry. They require a constant, steady, uninterrupted supply of oxygen and nutrients to simply survive. This essential supply is delivered by a network of microscopic blood vessels. Vessels so unbelievably tiny, they are barely visible to the human eye. Now, as we travel through the seasons of our lives, several things can happen to disrupt this delicate, beautiful system. Sometimes, the culprit is blood sugar. If your blood sugar levels are elevated, even just a tiny bit over a span of many years, that excess sugar acts like microscopic shards of jagged glass flowing through your bloodstream. It slowly, relentlessly scores and damages those tiny, fragile blood vessels that feed your nerve endings. When the blood vessels become damaged and die off, the nerves begin to suffocate. They gasp for oxygen in the dark. They cry out for nutrients. And that desperate cry for help, that is the burning sensation. That is the tingling. That is the sudden, shooting, electrical pain that jolts you awake. Eventually, if the suffocation continues for too long, the nerve simply gives up. It falls silent, and that terrifying silence is the numbness. Other times, the damage is not from blood sugar at all. It can be from a slow, creeping lack of specific, crucial vitamins. Or from years of hidden, systemic inflammation in the body. Or from physical compression, where a nerve is pinched, trapped, and glued down by scar tissue along its long journey down your leg. But regardless of the exact cause, the tragic end result is exactly the same. The vital connection is broken. The leaves at the end of the branches are withering and falling away. For decades, the medical establishment firmly believed that once a peripheral nerve was damaged, it was gone forever. They believed that the adult nervous system was fixed, rigid, unchanging. Once the wires frayed, the lights went out for good. But they were wrong. Modern science has recently uncovered a beautiful, empowering truth. Neuroplasticity, neuroregeneration. Your peripheral nerves actually have the profound ability to sprout entirely new branches. They can repair their damaged, frayed protective coatings. They can, and they will, heal. But they absolutely cannot do it alone. They need you. They need you to step up and create the perfect, nurturing environment for that healing to take place. And that is exactly what we are going to do together, starting right this very moment. There are 5 foundational pillars to reversing neuropathy. 5 non-negotiable, powerful steps you must take to coax those silent nerves back to vibrant life. Pillar 1: the foundation of blood flow. Let us begin with the absolute foundation. If your nerves are currently suffocating in the dark, the very first thing we must do is open the floodgates. We must deliver a rush of oxygen and life-giving nutrients back to the furthest, darkest corners of your toes. But how do you force fresh blood into microscopic vessels that have been damaged and collapsed? You do it through specific, mindful, targeted movement. I am not talking about forcing yourself to run a marathon. I am not talking about lifting heavy, exhausting weights in a gym. I am talking about movement that acts as a mechanical pump. I want you to imagine your calf muscles as a second heart located in your lower body. Every single time you actively flex your calf muscle, it physically pumps stagnant blood down deep into your feet, and then pushes it all the way back up to your chest. If you are sitting in a chair for hours a day, watching television or reading, that vital pump is completely turned off. The blood pools in your lower legs. The flow stops, and the nerves starve. Tomorrow morning, before you even swing your legs out of bed, I want you to lie there and point your toes straight down toward the foot of the bed. Then, pull them back aggressively toward your shins. Do this 20 times, smoothly, deliberately. You will begin to feel a warmth, and then a slight burn in your calves. That burn is not a bad thing. That burn is fresh blood rushing into the area. That is life returning to your feet. Throughout your day, every single hour on the hour, I want you to stand up. Rise up high onto your tiptoes. Hold that peak contraction for just 1 second. Then slowly come back down. Do this simple motion 10 times. It takes less than 60 seconds. But by doing this, you are manually overriding your sluggish circulatory system. You are forcing the vital delivery of oxygen to the tissues that desperately need it. Next, within this first pillar, we must talk about the power of temperature. Contrast therapy is an ancient and incredibly powerful tool for circulation. When you are taking your daily shower, let the warm, comfortable water run generously over your feet and lower legs. Warm water acts to dilate your blood vessels. It forces them to open up wide and relax. Then, brace yourself, and for just 30 seconds, turn the water to cold. Cold water forces the vessels to rapidly constrict. It squeezes them shut. Then immediately go back to the soothing warm water. This alternating, rhythmic expanding and contracting is like a cardiovascular workout specifically for your microscopic blood vessels. It trains them to be elastic and youthful again. It forces fresh, highly oxygenated blood deep into the hidden tissues where your damaged nerves are crying out for help. Pillar 2: the fuel for reconstruction. Now we move to the second step. You have successfully opened the highways by increasing your blood flow. But we have to ask a very important question. What exactly are those highways delivering? If you are routinely feeding your body highly processed foods, hidden sugars, and refined, empty carbohydrates, you are essentially sending poison down those newly opened highways. You are merely adding more fuel to the raging fire of inflammation. To actually heal a damaged nerve, you must feed it the specific, high-quality raw materials it needs to physically rebuild its protective coating. This coating is called the myelin sheath. Think of it as the thick rubber insulation on a copper electrical wire. The absolute most critical raw material for rebuilding this insulation is vitamin B, and specifically, a form called vitamin B12. Here is the cruel irony of aging. As we cross into our 50s and 60s, our stomachs naturally produce far less of the specific gastric acid required to break down and extract B12 from the meat and dairy we eat. You could be eating a seemingly perfect, healthy diet, and still be slowly, accidentally starving your nervous system of B12. Without it, your nerves are laid bare. They are electrical wires completely stripped of their protective insulation. They misfire constantly. They short-circuit. They cause excruciating, unpredictable pain. You absolutely need to supplement with a high-quality, easily absorbed form of B12, known specifically as methylcobalamin. This is a non-negotiable building block. But B12 cannot do the heavy lifting all by itself. Enter a miraculous compound called alpha-lipoic acid, or ALA for short. This is an incredibly potent, deeply penetrating antioxidant. Think of ALA as a microscopic, highly trained firefighter. It travels deep inside your nerve cells, crosses barriers that other vitamins cannot reach, and actively extinguishes the smoldering fires of oxidative stress and inflammation that are burning your delicate nerves. Clinical studies have repeatedly shown that alpha-lipoic acid can significantly, noticeably reduce the daily symptoms of neuropathy, especially the agonizing burning and the sharp pain. It acts as an impenetrable shield, protecting the fragile nerves while they do the long, hard work of regenerating. And finally, we cannot possibly forget omega-3 fatty acids. These are the beautiful, healthy fats found abundantly in wild-caught salmon, in rich walnuts, and in tiny flax seeds. Your brain, your spinal cord, and your entire peripheral nervous system are constructed largely of fat. By flooding your daily diet with healthy omega-3s, you are literally providing the exact structural building blocks required to reconstruct shattered nerve tissue. Imagine a busy construction site. The blood flow from your exercises is the delivery truck arriving on site. The vitamins and fats are the bricks, the steel, and the mortar. You absolutely must have both working together to rebuild the house. Pillar 3: The healing environment. Our third pillar addresses the environment in which your nerves live. I am talking about the chemical, internal environment of your bloodstream. I am talking directly about your blood sugar. And I need you to hear this clearly. Even if you have never been officially diagnosed with diabetes, even if your well-meaning doctor says your numbers are just slightly elevated or pre-diabetic, that slight, chronic elevation is a constant, low-grade, devastating assault on your peripheral nerves. You must take control and stabilize your blood sugar to give your nerves a fighting chance at survival. This means fundamentally rethinking your lifelong relationship with carbohydrates. White fluffy bread, a comforting bowl of white pasta, innocent-looking sugary snacks, even that large glass of morning orange juice. These things cause rapid, violent spikes in your blood glucose. Your body panics at the sudden influx. It releases a flood of insulin to cope. And then, just as rapidly, the sugar crashes. This daily, exhausted roller coaster is highly destructive and toxic to sensitive nerve tissue. You must gently replace the violent roller coaster with a smooth, gentle, rolling hill. You do this by focusing heavily on fiber, crunchy vegetables, dark, leafy greens, clean, lean proteins, rich, healthy fats. When you do choose to eat carbohydrates, make sure you wrap them tightly in fiber. Eat the entire, crisp apple, do not just drink the extracted apple juice. The natural fiber acts as a net. It drastically slows down the digestion and absorption of the sugar, protecting your fragile nerves from the toxic onslaught. This mindful shift in your daily eating habits can completely halt the downward progression of neuropathy in its tracks. Pillar 4: The art of nerve gliding. Now, we enter the physical reconstruction phase. This is where the true mechanical magic happens. This is where we actively, physically encourage the nerves to stretch out, to grow longer, and to heal. You must understand that nerves are not like your muscles. You do not stretch a nerve by pulling on it forcefully or holding a deep stretch. Nerves are more like wet noodles. They need to be able to glide smoothly and effortlessly through the complex tunnels of muscles, fascia, and tissues of your body. When you become inactive as you age, or when you suffer from chronic inflammation, the soft tissues surrounding your nerves become tight, dry, and sticky. They form microscopic scar tissue, and the nerve gets glued down and trapped in the tunnel. Every single time you move your leg, instead of gliding smoothly like a wet noodle, the trapped nerve gets harshly tugged, pulled, and stretched beyond its limit. This causes immediate, sharp, radiating pain. To physically fix this, we use a brilliant physical therapy technique called nerve gliding. Or sometimes, it is called nerve flossing. Imagine a piece of stringy dental floss tightly trapped between two of your teeth. You do not yank hard on one end to get it out. It would break. Instead, you gently pull one end, while letting go of the other. Then you smoothly reverse the motion. You gently, rhythmically glide it back and forth until it is free. We can do exactly this with your sciatic nerve, the massive, thick nerve bundle that runs all the way from your lower back, down your leg, to your vibrating toes. I want you to sit safely on the very edge of a sturdy chair. Slump your upper back forward gently, letting your shoulders round, and drop your chin all the way down to rest on your chest. Now, very, very slowly, begin to straighten one leg out in front of you. As you straighten your knee, actively point your toes up toward the ceiling. At the exact same moment your toes go up, lift your head and look up at the ceiling. Then, as you slowly bend your knee and lower your foot back to the floor, smoothly drop your chin back down to your chest. Look up, leg out, toes pulled up. Look down, leg down, toes completely relaxed. Do this incredibly slowly, very, very gently, 10 mindful times on each leg. Think about what is happening inside. What you are doing is pulling the trapped nerve upward from the top, and letting it go slack at the bottom. Then pulling it downward from the bottom, and letting it go slack at the top. You are gently, persistently flossing and freeing the nerve from the tight, sticky scar tissue. You are giving it back the physical space it desperately needs to breathe, to receive the fresh blood flow you created, and to finally heal. Do this deeply restorative motion every single evening. Make it a sacred ritual. A quiet, mindful moment of physical healing just before you go to sleep. Pillar 5: the mindful connection. And finally, we arrive at the fifth and perhaps most profound pillar. The mind-body connection. This is the element that is most often completely ignored by modern medicine, yet it is undeniably, scientifically powerful. Living with chronic, daily pain. Living with the heavy fear of losing your balance and falling. It changes who you are. It puts your entire, intricate nervous system into a permanent state of high alert. It is a state of perpetual fight or flight. When your brain perceives this constant, never-ending threat, it continuously pumps out cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol, in high, chronic doses, is highly inflammatory. It physically restricts the blood flow to your farthest extremities. It actually tightens and hardens the soft tissues around your fragile nerves. If you are constantly stressed, angry at your body, or deeply afraid of your neuropathy, you are inadvertently, biochemically making the physical nerve damage worse. You must learn to intentionally teach your nervous system that it is safe. You must consciously command your physical body to step out of the war zone and enter a state of deep, profound rest and repair. Because true, cellular healing only happens when the body is in a state of rest. Tonight, when you lie down in your bed, do not focus your attention on the tingling. Do not focus your anxiety on the burning. Close your eyes gently. Place one warm hand flat on your belly. Take a slow, deliberate breath in through your nose, pulling the air so deep that your hand physically rises. Count silently to 4 as you breathe in. Hold that life-giving breath for just a moment at the top. Then, exhale incredibly slowly through your mouth, as if blowing out a candle, counting down from 6. In for a count of 4. Out for a long count of 6. This specific, rhythmic breathing pattern is not just relaxing. It sends a literal, mechanical signal directly up your vagus nerve to your brainstem. It tells your primal brain that there is no tiger chasing you. It tells your brain to immediately turn off the toxic stress response, to open up the constricted blood vessels, and to finally begin the overnight repair work. As you breathe in this rhythm, I want you to intentionally visualize those tiny, struggling nerves in your feet. Picture them in your mind's eye glowing with a soft, warm, golden light. Visualize the fresh, red blood flowing easily and smoothly down your legs. See the nerves drinking in the oxygen. See them physically growing stronger, thicker, and healthier with every breath you take. Never underestimate the immense, scientifically proven power of your own mind to actively direct the physical healing process of your body. Your blueprint for recovery. Now, let us put all of this powerful knowledge together. Let us build your daily, non-negotiable blueprint for recovery. Morning. You wake up. You do not rush to stand up immediately. You lie there and do your 20 vigorous ankle pumps. You feel the warm blood rushing down to awaken your feet. You stand up, mindful of your posture and your balance. You go to the kitchen. You completely ignore the boxed cereal or the white toast. You purposefully make a breakfast rich in clean protein and healthy fats. Perhaps eggs with dark, leafy spinach and a slice of avocado. You take your high-quality B12 and your alpha-lipoic acid with a large glass of water. Midday. You are sitting at your desk, or perhaps watching a program on television. You remember the secondary heart, the calf pump. You stand up. You do 10 slow, deliberate calf raises. You walk around the room with purpose for just 2 minutes. You are actively keeping the healing highways wide open. Afternoon. You focus intently on your hydration. Water is absolutely essential to maintain your blood volume and keep circulation strong. If you are hungry, you eat a mindful snack of raw walnuts or fresh, dark berries. You easily avoid the sugary, processed treats that you now know destroy your hard-earned progress. Evening. You step into your shower. You perform your warm and cold contrast therapy. You feel the intense, invigorating tingling of fresh circulation flooding your lower legs. Night. You sit quietly on the edge of your bed. The house is still. You do your 10 gentle nerve glides on each leg. You are smoothly freeing the nerves from the accumulated tension and stress of the day. You lie down. You begin your deep, 4-6 rhythmic breathing. You visualize the warm, golden healing light. You fall effortlessly into a deep, uninterrupted, deeply restorative sleep. The promise of tomorrow. I need to be incredibly honest with you. This is not a magical, overnight quick fix. There is no hidden pill, no secret cream, and no single injection that will completely undo years of accumulated nerve damage by tomorrow morning. This journey requires profound patience. It requires radical, unwavering consistency. You are essentially planting a delicate garden in soil that has been ignored and neglected for a very long time. You must faithfully water it every single day. You must diligently pull the weeds of bad habits every single day. For the first few weeks, you might honestly not feel a massive difference. The frustrating burning might still be there on Tuesday. The terrifying numbness might still persist on Friday. But deep inside, far beneath the surface of your skin, the magnificent miracle of human biology is actively happening. Microscopic, vital blood vessels are furiously branching out. The delicate myelin sheath is slowly, brick by brick, rebuilding its protective, insulating walls. The lost electrical signals are finally finding their way back home. And one day, maybe 2 months from now, maybe 3, you will wake up to the morning light. And you will suddenly realize something absolutely profound. You slept through the entire night. The jagged, electrical burning did not wake you up. You will swing your legs over the edge, step out of bed, and the hardwood floor will feel real again. Solid, cool, and undeniably present beneath your bare feet. You will regain your lost balance. You will regain your shattered confidence. You will walk down the street, not staring nervously at your feet in fear of falling, but looking straight ahead at the beautiful, vibrant world that is still waiting for you. You have the absolute power to completely change the trajectory of your health. Do not let anyone, regardless of their medical degree, tell you that suffering with neuropathy is just an inevitable part of getting older. Do not surrender your golden years to the pain. Take back control. Open the vital blood flow. Fuel the starving nerves. Stabilize your internal environment. Free the physical restrictions that bind you. And calm your anxious mind. Your remarkable body is simply waiting for your clear instructions. It is waiting for you to step up and lead the way. The profound healing does not start next week. The healing starts today. The healing starts right now. With your very next, mindful breath. Make the unbreakable commitment to this path. Reclaim your stolen mobility. Reclaim your boundless joy. You deserve to live a long, beautiful life totally free from the heavy, dark shadows of neuropathy. Now, take that deep, grounding breath. And let us begin.